Welcome to Full Circle. I'm Suzanne McAllister. I am so glad you are here today. You know, many of us have heard that food is the best medicine. So on today's program, we're going to talk about the health benefits of oils and vinegars. Also, we're going to talk about a modified vegan diet with our first guest. It's a pleasure to welcome Audrey Barron to the show. She is the owner of Ezra's Enlightened Cafe. Welcome to Full Circle.
Thanks for having me.
So before we learn more about what vegan diet is, or a vegan as you like to call it, I want to talk about your personal experience. You had chronic fatigue syndrome and you just weren't feeling like yourself. So how did you shift things in your own life?
Right. Well, I grew up with, we gardened. I had a good experience with going out and gardening and picking, peppers and eating them with dirt still on the peppers, and those things. But we also, had food that was, like the Betty Crocker cakes and, the cookies from, the tube and things that were the processed foods. So I had an appreciation of both. And then I went into, went to college and really just made some poor choices unbeknownst. I really just didn't have guidance and was just like a lot of college students do, was eating a lot of the processed foods and things like that, and noticed a quick decline in my health. Really, just happened very quickly in my freshman year. And
so what were you noticing? What were some of those symptoms?
Extreme fatigue. I wasn't able to stay awake in class, no matter what class it was. It was, even if I really loved the class, which most of them I did, it was hard to stay awake, and it was just like I couldn't sleep enough. So I was sleeping in between classes, and there was, there just wasn't a lot of information out there at this time on, what healthy eating really meant. At that time, my awareness of that was what was being told to us, in mainstream media, which was eat low fat, and that was about it. So I was trying to go that route, and it made a tiny bit of a difference, but really not enough until I learned about the vegetarian diet, and then further than that, the vegan and raw food diet, and that's where things just turned around for me.
And it turned around in many ways because you left your job in corporate America, you went to the raw culinary school in California, and this is now your career. So obviously it made an impression on you. So when you say vegan, and then you say vegan, B-E-E, what exactly do you mean?
Okay, so our version of the vegan diet is no animal products whatsoever, with the exception of raw local honey. So some would not consider that to be vegan, so we're really careful to say vegan. But we find, and I personally, and at the cafe, we find raw honey to be extremely beneficial to the health, for our health. And it's also, we're sourcing it from local beekeepers who are taking care of the bees, and really it's actually, I feel, supporting the bees. So they're being cared for.
So there's a lot of sustainability there as well.
Exactly.
Well, I think one of the things that in my own mind, I still eat meat, but I find more and more that I'm shifting to a more raw and vegetable and fruit diet. So you don't have to be a vegan or a vegetarian to appreciate the food. And you have brought some delicious things from Ezra's Enlightened Cafe. So maybe you don't want to take the plunge and totally give up all the animal products, but this is delicious. Tell me what we have here. I just want to jump right in there.
Yeah, so this is our signature dish here. This is our Buddha bowl. Of course, this is in our to-go container. We always have them available every day, and we also have them like in to-go containers like this in our cooler, so you can literally just grab it and go.
Now, I see avocados in there. Why are those so important?
Avocados are a wonderful source of fat that is, and fat's really important for us because it helps to carry the nutrients and the minerals where they need to go in the body. It's also a great source of fiber as well, which a lot of people don't connect the fiber in the avocado, but it is definitely there. So.
And you have some delicious looking desserts, but many people think that you wouldn't be able to have such sweet things when you are a vegan or a vegan.
Right, exactly. That's one of the most exciting things about Ezra's is that we have a full dessert display. And so we've brought this is our key lime cheesecake, and this is our triple chocolate brownie. And we just they just fly off. We go through at least a pie a day and so many brownies a day because they taste so great, and a lot of people believe they taste better than a normal brownie. And the reason I believe for that is that it's not the flavors aren't cooked out, so the flavors are still bright and vibrant. So we actually juice organic limes for that key lime cheesecake. So you're getting that tart, fresh, bright flavor of the lime, and it's not been cooked out with high heat.
And you're not using a lot of sugar then, obviously.
Right, we don't use any processed sugar. So to sweeten desserts, we use raw dates, organic dates. We'll use local maple syrup, and we do use some honey, but we don't use any processed sugars at all.
Well, you've tempted me. I'm going to try a little bit of
Yeah.
this key lime pie. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll tell you about how at Audrey's Cafe, they have some herbal tonics that can really give you energy. Stay with us. This is good. Audrey Barron is our guest on today's program. She's the owner of Ezra's Enlightened Cafe. And after experiencing chronic fatigue in her own life, she started her own cafe, and she is helping other people get healthy. It must be very rewarding to be able to teach people about how food is medicine.
Oh, extremely rewarding, because I've been there. I know what it feels like, to just not feel like yourself and not have the energy to do what you want. So when we see people coming into the cafe and then reporting back how much better they're feeling, I never can get enough. It's just, I love it.
So tell me about the importance, we hear a lot about people having the raw foods, organic foods, non-genetically modified. Why are all those things important, and why should we consider that in our own diets?
Right. Well, when something is organic, that means when it has that stamp of organic, it means that it was grown in such a way that it was not sprayed heavily with pesticides and herbicides. Why is that important? Because those pesticides and herbicides, while they do help have larger yields for crops, those are poisons, right? They're poisons that kill off the bugs and they kill off, the weeds and everything, so it's easier to harvest. But those poisons are then ingested by, those of us who are eating the food. And there are numerous studies that show those poisons build up over time, and they can correlate to diseases such as cancer and Alzheimer's and just a plethora of other things like ADHD for children, autism. It's basically ingesting poison slowly over time, which you would never purposely go out and say have a little bit of rat poison every day, but that's in essence kind of what we're doing if we're not careful about the foods that we're eating.
So we need to become label readers, but more importantly, we probably need to be eating foods that are not in a box and don't have labels, right?
Exactly. If you can eat foods that don't have labels, you're already taking a huge step. And then beyond that, if you're able to go to, maybe grow some of your own food in the summertime or spring, or go to the farmer's market or be part of a CSA, or of course come to, to Ezra's.
Absolutely.
Where that we're serving organic. So.
And that's named after your son. He's got to be really excited about that. Does he have a favorite tea or something when he comes in?
He loves our carrot spice muffins. He has one every day.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm intrigued by what you have here, because you talk about having herbal teas that actually help people with specific ills.
Yes, we have what we call our herbal elixir bar menu. So that consists of latte-like drinks. So they're hot, creamy drinks, such as something you might get at a coffee shop, but they're made with Chinese herbs, and our almond milk that we make in-house. It's organic. And so we have one that is chocolate, also chai, and then also vanilla. And they each are made with specific herbs, so depending on how, what's going on. So there's one for chronic fatigue, there's one for just in general energy for the day, there's one for relaxation, and then we also have herbal shots that you can take for, for mental clarity and things like that.
Wow, so what is this tea going to do to me?
Okay, so
May I try?
Yeah, you may. This is our spring dragon tea. This is what we have available, cold or hot.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, and it's made from 6 different Chinese herbs, the main herb being gynostemma. And in China, they reference that as the magic grass, because they say that it's really good for everything, including longevity, your immune system, libido, for skin and hair, for just almost anything.
You mentioned skin and hair, and I think when some people become vegetarians, they sometimes don't get enough fat in their diet. You mentioned that there are healthy ways through the avocados and things like that.
Oh, for sure. Avocados, coconut oils, and then of course, You know, even the almond milk, you know, if it's made from organic almonds, of course, you're getting, I mean, that's a great source of fat from the nuts without the fiber or the body having to break down those almonds. So there's a lot of different ways, yeah.
Well, I can tell you love what you do. Congratulations on Ezra's Enlightened Cafe. You can go to our website and find out more information about how you can link to the information. No matter where you are, there's a lot to learn on that website. Audrey Barron is the owner, and she has been our guest in this segment of the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about the health benefits of oils and vinegars. Don't go away. We are back, and it's my pleasure to introduce our next guest. Joining me now is David Burcham. He is the owner of Artesanos Oils and Spices. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
So we're talking about healthy foods, and certainly oils and spices and vinegars, which you specialize in,
Correct.
are very healthy for us. Why?
Absolutely. Well, today in today's diet, what we're trying to do is get healthy things into our diet, and fats can be considered, bad for us. But in olive oil, that we have what we call healthy fats in olive oil. And however, we always have to be careful because we want to do everything in moderation. And with the olive oils, it's nice to be able to put that into your foods and get some really nice health benefits out of it. And really, we're finding more and more and more out weekly, monthly, that we're finding out about the health benefits of olive oil and what's in it, and helping with the polyphenols. Polyphenols are very important in olive oil today.
So what are some of the other important health aspects by substituting, going with a good oil as opposed to, say, using salad dressing or over-processed kinds of condiments that we would use?
Half of it is the thing, when you turn around that bottle and try to read the ingredients.
Boy, that's
in that,
true.
You can't pronounce half of that's in there. You turn around a bottle of olive oil, all it is, extra virgin olive oil, Piquol, Arbequina. It's a single variety, it's single process. There's nothing else in there.
So you said extra virgin. Is that the best type of olive oil there is?
That's the best kind of olive oil you can get. There's 5 categories of olive oil, extra virgin being the best of the best. And to be an extra virgin olive oil, there's 3 things that we want to see. We want to make sure that's first press, and we want to make sure it's cold press. And then we're looking at the acidity level of the makeup of the olive oil. So when we talk about cold pressing, what we're talking about is when it's going through the processing of being processed and extracted out, we don't want that oil to heat up above 85 degrees. If that happens, then we start breaking down the oil, and then we start losing the good benefits of that.
So does that mean that we should not cook
Absolutely
frying with olive
not.
oils?
You know what's interesting about that? You hear about it so much today about don't use olive oil in high heat situations.
Right.
That's totally false. That's totally false.
Huh.
And the reason that's been created is because most of the olive oils that you would get out of a supermarket type of environment is going to be an oil that's been blended. It might not even be an extra virgin olive oil. It could be some other type of maybe just virgin olive oil or just regular olive oil, not the extra virgin style. And then they've added maybe like a seed oil to it to stretch that out. And once you start doing that, or you get an aged olive oil, it loses the smoke point on it. So when you get, most of your olive oils are going to be down that low 200 range, where a good olive oil, extra virgin olive oil that's fresh, will give you about 385 to 395 on the smoke level.
So I've already learned something today. That's
Absolutely.
Good. Now, I've never done this before,
Okay.
and oil tasting.
Absolutely.
All right,
This
how
is
do we
what
do
we
this?
do all day
All
long.
right.
So the first thing you and I are going to share here is an olive oil that's coming from the southern hemisphere. We get our oils from 2 places, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. And part of the year we're in the southern hemisphere, and then the other part we're in the northern, which is your Italian and your Spanish oils. Southern hemisphere would be maybe Chile or Australia.
So what are
Okay.
we looking for? What makes a good oil good and what makes a bad oil bad?
Well, first of all, the
You
freshness
start.
of it. Okay, the freshness is what I'm looking for. You can smell it. I always like to kind of like take this and kind of heat it up a little bit.
Okay.
We're getting into that little wine thing.
Okay.
So swirling, we're just bringing the heat up a little bit so we can get our nose down there and get a smell of it. And you'll smell that nice, like a little bit of a grassiness to it, a little bit of
Yeah.
that aroma.
Absolutely.
Okay? So now when we taste it, I'm going to taste just a slight grassiness to that. maybe even a hint of banana.
Oh, you know what? I definitely taste the grass.
Yeah.
And a ripe banana.
Right, absolutely.
Did I get it?
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. And when you taste these oils, they all have a little bit of different note to them.
Uh-huh.
Some of them maybe be a little bit more, now you're probably getting just a little bit of burn.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, that's
I
good.
usually have, you know, a salad with
Yeah,
my oil.
absolutely, absolutely. But that's a good thing. That tells you the freshness. You're feeling the freshness of it. If you get a supermarket type olive oil, you're going to normally not experience that. And that's because of the age on it. Anything that, you know, that you really want fresh, you want to see less than a year on the age of the olive oil.
Okay, so 1 year. So how should we store it to keep it fresh?
The biggest thing is keep it out like your heat from like your stove. You know, everybody has that one cabinet that's right above the stove. Please, please, never put your olive oil there. And for that matter, don't even put your spices there. As soon as that first time you go to cook spaghetti and that steam goes up, if you have any spices over there, it's just going to eliminate the oils in that. So that's the first thing. And then the light. Your typical light at home is pretty okay, but what I worry about is that sunlight, that
Sure.
UV coming in, and we want to keep it away from that. No need to put it in the refrigerator, because if you do that with our product, because it's a true extra virgin olive oil, what you're going to find is going to kind of seize up and get really cloudy.
Huh.
Some people say that that's the way to tell of a good extra virgin olive oil, but that's not always so true.
So let's try another one. That was kind of fun.
Okay, well, let's go to another one. We're going
All
to
right.
try, and this time, let's use one out here. This is going to be an organic one. This is coming from Peru. It's called Cornatina. This is a fun one. We enjoy this one.
All right, so I know I want to warm it up in my hand.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You
Kind of
know,
opens it
smell it a
up.
little bit. Now, what does this one taste like?
Well, we'll find out. You know,
Okay.
what's interesting about olive oils is I tasted this probably 4 weeks ago, and it's going to taste a little different today.
It's a little more, has a little more aroma, a little
Okay.
tartar, I think.
Could be. Yeah, I get that.
This one is more bitter?
Yep, just a little bit of bitter.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a little bit.
It's good.
Really grassy. Mm-hmm. Not everyone enjoys this. Not everybody can. This is what we would call robust, okay?
It's very
we look at
robust.
mild, medium, and robust. So the first one we tried, the Arbequina, that would be more medium body is what I would call this. This is definitely robust.
You know, I think when people go into the grocery stores, as you were saying, many of us, me included, we think all the olive oils are created equal. But doing this tasting with
Right.
you, I realize that we should come into a shop like yours and get a better sense of what the olive oils are really about.
We try to carry about 9 to 10 different olive oils within the region of I shouldn't say the region, but within the hemisphere. So we'll carry about 3 or 4 in a mild, then medium, and robust. And we try to just get people to figure out what they like. Because, for example, this one we just tasted, next year, if I get that from the same farmer, it might taste different because of the heat, the cold, what have you.
Just like any other product.
Right.
Well, I want to cover more things on here before we
Absolutely.
run out of time. You also carry various kinds of salt.
Absolutely.
And you have a pink salt here.
We do.
Why is that so special?
Well, pink salt this is actually what we would call Himalayan sea salt, okay? And I should say, let me back that up, Himalayan salt. This wouldn't be a sea salt. This is actually mined in the mountains, kind of like we would from the central areas of the Midwest here. You'll find that granite or maybe limestone is cut in big blocks, and the salt is done the same way. It's cut in big blocks, and then they cut it down and then grind it up.
So this is healthier for us because it's not over-processed.
It's not over-processed, and it has 80 plus minerals in it.
So what about this big contraption here?
Well, what's funny about this is if we were in Spain or we were in Italy and going into someone's home, you're going to find that on about every homeowner's on their counter.
On their table?
That's how they use olive oil every day, morning, noon, and night. And I think that's why you find that the Mediterranean diets work well, or you find that the Mediterraneans have a much healthier lifestyle than we do, even though they're eating a lot late. Drinking wine, it's the olive oil is what they continue going back to and saying that's where the benefits are coming from.
Well, there's so much to learn. We have only scratched the surface. You can go to our website, fullcircleshow.net, and find out more about David Burchin's shop, Artisanos Oils and Spices. Thank you for this lesson.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it. I think I might try some more of this oil. Well, don't go away. We are back with our music segment, The Singing Gondolier, after this.
Stay tuned. Musical Showcase is coming up next. And now, here's our Musical Showcase.
So glad you could be with us today here on Full Circle. Now here's Jeff Hudson, our singing gondolier. We'll see you next time, Full Circle.
Sul mare luccica l'astro d'argento, placida è l'onda, prospero il vento. Sul mare luccica l'astro d'argento, placida è l'onda, prospero il vento. Venite la gile, barca da mia, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. Venite la gile, barca da mia, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. La bruna gondoletta appresta barcalo, oltre il canal m'aspetta colui che ben io vuol. Se così amor tu sai, devi inondare e quel